The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the City of Neenah Common Council meeting for Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. The first item on the agenda is the roll call. The clerk will call the roll. Please indicate your presence on your roll call device as well.
President Borchard? Here. Alderman Bruno?
Here.
Erickson?
Here.
Linsky?
Here.
Ellis? Here. Steiner is excused. Alderman Paulnow?
Here.
Lendrum?
Here.
And Weber.
Here.
And please note that Director Rasmussen is appearing by phone tonight.
And we'll call on Alderman Lendrum to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Do we need to do that again? Okay. There are some committee appointments this evening. Is there any objection to unanimous consent of the reappointment of Lee Hillstrom, Jim Wise, and Eric Maggio to the Parks and Recreation Commission for a 3-year term expiring December 2028, or the reappointment of Greg Weinberg to the Neenah-Menasha Sewerage Commission for a 3-year term expiring December 2028? Is there any objection to unanimous consent of those appointments? Seeing none, those appointments are confirmed. The next item on the agenda is the 2026-2027 Elections Board. The poll worker nominations to the City of Neenah 2026-27 Elections Board. Those are attached in your packet. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
There's a motion by Alderman Ellis, seconded by Alderman Weber. Discussion on this item. Alderman Paulnow.
Thank you, Mayor. One quick question. Is this, I guess I don't recall us approving all the electors maybe we have in the past. Is it a state mandated kind of thing? And is there a certain criteria or vetting thing that goes on that's probably mandated by the state, or how does that work?
Mm-hmm. Would you like to address that?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a state mandate. The nominees come from both the Democratic and the Republican Party, and there are some that are unaffiliated, and those are vetted through our office.
Okay. Is it a state mandated vetting process, or do you have discretion?
There is discretion.
Okay. Thank you.
Alderman Lendrum.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be abstaining tonight just because I'm a poll worker chief inspector, so.
Thank you.
I just wanted to clarify with Alderman Paulnow, there's discretion on the unaffiliated. There is no discretion on the ones nominated by the parties.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the poll worker nominations to the City of Neenah? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 7-0 with 1 abstention. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the council proceedings of the Committee of the Whole minutes of December 3rd and the approval of the council minutes and proceedings of December 3rd regular session. Is there any objection to unanimous consent of the approval of those minutes? Alderman Paulno.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a couple questions on B, approval of the council minutes. I don't know if we have to pull it out, or do I ask my questions now?
Go ahead and ask your question.
In the minutes, in section, this is under the regular Public Service and Safety Committee readout, there's discussion in regard to the $25,000 contract. And in this minutes, it goes on to say, advice given by contracted outside counsel is confidential, therefore not shared with council or the public. And my thinking is that was attributed to Attorney Rashid, but I don't recall Attorney Rashid making those statements that it's not privy, or the council or the public is not, maybe the public, but the council is not privy. I just want to get confirmation from the city attorney. Is that, just for the record, is that what you had stated? That the council wasn't, it will not be shared with council? Is that a correct statement, or is that not?
Yes, that the subject matter was a proper subject for a closed session, therefore it wouldn't be discussed.
So that's in a public, but that not just totally a blanket, because how it reads is that the council has no, as I read it, it's stating that you had said the council has no, they will not be shared, this information wouldn't be shared with them ever, and I didn't think that's what you indicated. I thought you had indicated that if this was going to be shared with council, it would be during a closed session.
Correct. If it were to be shared, it would be shared there.
Okay, and that's fair. I just wanted that correction, so I would like to see the minutes correct to that, because that's not the way it reads. It reads, advice given by contracted outside counsel is confidential, therefore not shared with council or public.
So you're making a motion that that be modified?
Do I need to make I didn't know.
You.
Okay. Then I would make the motion to modify the minutes to correctly state what the city attorney had stated about that the contracts would be a confidential matter to be discussed in closed session. So I don't know if I push a button or raise my hand or what.
Is this, so this is in the council minutes? Or in
Yes.
the public services?
Council minutes.
Okay.
Section 7A, para 1, about halfway down.
Okay, there's a motion to amend the minutes.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to amend the minutes per the recommendation of Alderman Paulno. Alderman Lundrum?
So instead of, or not instead of, I guess I would say, is that going to, I guess I'm just wondering if there's another way to word that. Instead of changing that right now, I know I'd have to make another motion, but I don't think it's necessary, to confer, I guess, with the city attorney first, or have the city attorney maybe get back to us on that, like pull it out, somehow, and then off the agenda, and then.
Well,
get
as a point of
back.
order, the reason I asked that it be moved to amend is because this is a record of what was said in that proceeding. Alderman Paulno has one view of it, and whoever made these minutes, I'm assuming it's the clerk, had a different view. You all were there. So it's not about whether I meant what I said or I didn't, or it's going to go one way or another. It's about what was said. So,
So you did not misspeak? Is that?
quite frankly, I don't remember what I said specifically or didn't say. I can
Okay.
tell you that that's what it reads is consistent with what I would say.
Okay.
Legal advice given to us by outside counsel would not be shared until I deemed it appropriate to be shared, if ever. So
Okay.
that's kind of consistent with what it says, I think.
Alderman Ellis?
Thank you, Mayor. I would recommend, I'm just, as a point, I'm not making a motion here, that we just leave it the way that it states. I defer to the city attorney in his legal expertise as to the status of this. Thank you.
Alderman Paul, no?
Thank you. There is something that's important, and the minutes are important, because as I recall, the city attorney advised us, which every other city attorney has advised, that this would be a closed session and would be require a closed session and to advise the council accordingly. A city attorney, in the way this reads, and it can be misused, it says, advice given by contracted outside counsel is confidential, therefore not shared with council or the public. So somebody from the outside looking in basically would read this, well, the city attorney has made the decision not to share information with the council. And that would and can be used by parties to malign the city attorney. And that is not a good place where we want to be, because it's definitive. It says not shared.
Well, I appreciate your concern. I don't really share that. Whether or not the city attorney, this one or any other, gives advice that's been given to me and other department heads with regard to a project that's still subject to closed sessions is within my discretion. So I'm not sure what we're debating here other than what was said that night. So you've made your motion, and I suppose we can vote on it. But my statement is that if and when information, advice given to me and to other department heads about a project subject to closed matters is to be revealed to the council or the public would be in my discretion. So I'm not sure if that answers it or what.
Well, I guess I would just state that the way it's stated is that you wouldn't share it at all, and I know that's not the case, but that's how it's stated. It's stated not shared. Contractual employees or contractual outside counsel is confidential, therefore not shared with council. And that's never been the case, and I know you've never intended that. You utilize your discretion and timing to update the council accordingly, and I think the record should reflect that, and people in the public should know that. Because people nowadays will utilize that to say, well, city attorney's not telling the council.
I think that you're actually missing the larger context of the minutes there, and I'm not sure if everyone has pulled that up and is looking at that. It's part of a longer paragraph. I don't think that we need to have further debate on this, however, so I will ask that we vote at this point as to whether or not we want to have that amended in the minutes. So please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion fails, 2 yes and 6 no. So now we'll go back to unanimous consent of the approval of the council proceedings. Is there any objection to unanimous consent of the council proceedings? Seeing none of those minutes and proceedings are approved. The next item on the agenda is the public forum. This is the opportunity for anyone to come forward who would like to speak before the council. Please come forward, state your name and address, residential address, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Aldermen and Alderwomen. My name is Jennifer Navarro. I am a homeowner, taxpayer, and a citizen of the city of Milwaukee. I had the misfortune of doing business with a business that you folks gave an occupancy permit to do business with the public and the outside public, out of state, out of city. The name of this place is Gibson Recycling and Auto Salvage. I came up last week on Tuesday. I paid Dan, who claims to be the owner of Gibson, I paid him $1,300 to purchase a transmission for a 14 Nissan Sentra. I said to Dan, I said, I looked it up on carparts.com. It's a forum that all over the country we can look up at used parts. I asked him if this part had been tested. He said yes. He showed me where to find it on Car Parts that this part had been tested. So when I came up and I spoke to him, his verbiage changed a little bit, and he said, hey, there's no warranty. I said, but it's tested. Your folks tested it. He said, my folks tested it. It's good. I said, terrific. I took it back to my car shop. I installed it into a 14 Nissan. And before you even drive those Nissan CVTs, if you folks know anything about them, they must be programmed by a Nissan qualified dealership. So I put it on my tow truck and I drove it to the Nissan dealership, and they red flagged it and called me right away and said this transmission was garbage. It was never going to perform up to standard. And so I called Dan immediately and I said, Dan, I'm at Nissan and this transmission has failed to do what you said it was going to do. And he said, okay. He said, give me a day, let me find another one. I said, certainly. He called me sometime later on yesterday, left a message on my voicemail, and basically said, you bought this without a warranty, basically pound sand. And I was like, well, I can't take a $1,300 loss. And I had done one other piece of business with him last year on a rear differential, and it was fine. So this particular thing, he said he'd call me back. He left me this message saying that he wasn't going to give me anything. And I said, but you have to, because in our industry, you don't do something like that. We are in times right now that I'm sure each of you will agree are precarious for many families, and the price of things are going up, and I can't afford to just lose $1,300. I'm a mother of 4 children. And I have bills to pay too. I'm a taxpayer. My tax bill just came out. But I think that when he comes up again for review in front of your folks, I want you to understand that I've done my research. And I think that I need to inform your police agency here that this is a pattern and that Dan is doing this to other people. There's a review on Gibson Iron and Recycling from a gentleman named Mark C. in Baxter, Minnesota. I think we can all agree that's over 4 hours away. This gentleman paid $2,021 to Dan for a transmission just like I did. I didn't pay as much as he did. And he got the transmission shipped to him. It was installed and it was garbage. Unfortunately, in both situations, we have to pay for the corrected labor. We then have to go out and find the corrected part. I see a pattern here in what they're doing to folks that live outside of your municipality. I do want you folks to know that I love everything about your city. I've had the pleasure of coming up here numerous times. Traditionally, and on a regular basis, I do business with some folks called Nick's Auto Salvage on Breezewood Drive in the middle of a beautiful cornfield. And I've probably done $10,000 worth of business with them in the last year and a half. They're helpful and informative and kind. And if they're a representation of this city, it'll make me keep coming back to do business with you good folks up here. I don't hold anyone responsible until the next where Gibson has to come up. I don't hold anybody responsible for giving him an occupancy until it's up for review again. And then I urge you folks to know that I drove over 100 miles today. Gibson has the bad transmission, refuses to give me my money. There's a gentleman in Minnesota who feels just like me. And you have such a beautiful town. And in closing, I would like to tell you who my family is. My family are the McCraneys. We started Wisconsin, and the year was 1833 by the birth of my great-great-great-grandmother, Susanna McCraney, who was the first white child born on the west side of the Mississippi, to Thomas McCraney and Suzanne Slayton, my 4th great-grandparents. My grandfather believed, and he had a vision of Wisconsin where it was going to be great folks, just like everyone I've met here except Dan. And We started the first House of Representatives in 1837, long before Wisconsin became a state in 1848, and at the first capital of Wisconsin, which is not Madison, but Belmont. And that house that stands today as a museum is my family's personal property, and we donated it to a museum. So I take great pride in being a Wisconsin resident and knowing that my family started Wisconsin. And so I'm asking you folks to please protect a Wisconsinner that happens to live in Milwaukee but loves your city and is being stolen from because I don't have the transmission and I don't have the money, and I'm going to have a disappointing Christmas for children. I thank you for your time. I do not hold any of you responsible. I do ask that don't do any business with Gibson. They will take from you, and there is a pattern. I will seek to speak to your police after this matter tonight. Thank you. Merry Christmas. God bless you, and thank you for doing the Pledge of Allegiance. You give me faith. Ciao.
Ms. Navarro, I so appreciate you coming and sharing
Yes, Mayor.
all of your concerns, and super grateful for also your deep history in Wisconsin. I love that.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Gibson's is not located within the city of Neenah.
It
It's
is.
within the town of Neenah.
Oh, it's in the town. Okay.
So our Director of Community Development quickly looked up who you could contact and would be happy to share that information with you.
Great.
I'm sorry that you made a trip here, but I appreciate you coming, and I really appreciate your kind words about the city of Neenah as well.
Easily said. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll meet her out there.
Okay.
You folks have a Merry Christmas.
Thank
and
you.
God be
You
with
as
you.
well.
Mayor, can I it's not my turn to talk, but I just don't want her to leave because I want to ask her a question
Please.
after. I can't do it now. I got to wait.
Yeah, well,
I'll wait for you.
second, is there anyone else who would like to speak during the public forum?
Okay. Come to you.
Hello, I'm Brian Dufferding. I live at 686 Oak Street in Neenah, and I've come here to announce that I am running for alderman in District 1. And I wanted to give a little background of me. Some people already know who I am. Some people are familiar with me before, but some of you may not be. And so I wanted to give a little bit of some information. So I've been on the Winnebago County Board for 6 years, for 3 terms. And I was on the Planning and Zoning Committee, and I was also on the Judicial and Public Safety Committee. I was also part of the Wisconsin Counties Association's Judicial and Public Safety Committee, and also the National Association of Counties Justice and Public Safety Committee. I've traveled to Madison, La Crosse, I've traveled to Austin, Texas, Denver, Colorado, and Washington, D.C. twice to advocate for both Neenah and Winnebago County. And I've met with Senator Tammy Baldwin's office, as well as Senator Ron Johnson's office, to talk about how we can fund our Veteran Affairs office. During my time on the county board, we've also completely rebuilt the Whitman Airport. And we also built a medical examiner's office with evidence garage. I think a lot of people don't know this, but Winnebago County, about 2 or 3 years ago, we were not able to perform autopsies in Winnebago County. We had to bring them to Fond du Lac County. But now we have a medical examiner's office and an evidence garage, and it's now turned into a revenue-generating source for Winnebago County. And we did all of that without raising taxes. So it's I'm no stranger to budgets. I know how budgets work. I know about I'm familiar with certain terms like carry forwards and so forth. And I guess you can say that local politics is a little bit in my blood too. My father, Wayne Dufferding, he was on the Appleton City Council for 6 years, and then he was also on the Outagamie County Board for 10 years. So I guess you could say I'm a little bit of the chip off the old block. And so I've some other stuff about me. I'm also on the board of directors for Reach Counseling. Some of you may be familiar with Reach Counseling. They're located right down on Commercial. They've been there for a long time. And one of the things that they do is that they service victims of sexual assault and human trafficking. They also are victim advocates for them in the courts. And they also do prevention education in the schools and churches, both public and private. And that's a very, very critical resource. I've been part of this organization for a long time. It is a subject matter that is very close and dear to my heart. I'm also on the board of directors for the Winnebago Conflict Resolution Center, where they handle a lot of small claims and small claims things. And they also, I'm also looking into doing some victim offender conferencing for juvenile offenders too. That's something that we're kind of pioneering towards right now. And we've been working with the district attorney on this, and he's been very much in favor of this. It's not going to replace anything in the criminal justice system. It's just going to be like a value added on service for the county. So we're working with the Oshkosh Community Foundation to see what we can do to pioneer something like that. So at that point, I'd be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thanks. I'm not sure if the other person is going to come back in, so you might have to just catch that person at a different time.
Or I could ask you. I don't want her to leave with, I mean, if she has.
Hang on one sec. Is
okay.
there anyone else who would like to speak during the public forum? Seeing no one, I will close the public forum and we'll go on to that next item, consideration of public forum issues. Alderman Lundrum.
I was just hoping that if she had like a written documentation of her family, how cool would that be if we could get a copy of it and put it with our historical documents here at City Hall?
Yeah,
She does have it? Okay.
that would be great.
We would love it. And I know it's a really busy time and zero hurry. It's Christmas, kids, business, all that. But if she ever is in the area, it would be great to drop it off in the mayor's office and we'll take care of it. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Oh, that'd
Don't
be-
feel like you have to drive 100 miles, though, to drop it off, so. But thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if she has an extra copy, that'd be great. Thank you.
Moving on, there's nothing on the consent agenda, so moving on to reports of standing committees, the regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of December 9th. Chairman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. As you said, I'll be reporting out for the regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of December 9th, 2025, and the minutes can be found on the city website. We have one action item tonight. Committee recommends council approve preliminary resolution 2025-19 sanitary sewer lateral and water service construction on Elm, Henry Street, Loudon Boulevard, Reed Street, and Sterling Avenue, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Weber. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-0.
And that's the end of my report.
Thank you for your report. The regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of December 8th was canceled. So moving on to the Neenah Menasha Fire Rescue Joint Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of December 9th. Council President Borchert.
Thank you, Mayor. Minutes can be found on the city's website. Committee recommends the cities of Neenah and Menasha Common Councils approve the purchase of a stock 2025 Chevrolet 1500 Silverado from Bergstrom Automotive not to exceed $60,000 and to purchase radio, lights, graphics, and other miscellaneous equipment from various vendors, for a total project cost not to exceed $67,000, and I so move.
There's a motion
Second.
by Council President Borchert, seconded by Alderman Paulno. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-0. Thank you for your report. The next item on the agenda, the regular Plan Commission meeting of December 9th was canceled. So moving on to the Board of Public Works meeting of December 11th. Vice Chairman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. reporting out, as you said, Board of Public Works meeting of December 11th, 2025, and the minutes can always be found on the city website. We have one action item tonight. Board recommends council approve final pay request, contract 4-24, sanitary and water main replacement, South Park Avenue, to Scott Lamers Construction in the amount of $65,569.50, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Ellis. Is there any discussion on this item? Alderman Paulno.
Director Kaiser, what was, because I know tonight in the meeting you had mentioned a bunch of them that were under budget or under contract. Where did this one come in at? Were we under or over?
I'll have to pull that one up. I don't
Okay.
recall where we landed on this one.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-0.
And that's the end of that report.
Go ahead and move on to the next.
Okay, reporting out again from Board of Public Works meeting of December 17th, which was tonight before council, 2025, and minutes will be able to be found on the city website. The committee will recommend council approve final pay request, contract 2-25, street and utility construction, Douglas Street and Elm Street to Feeker and Sons Construction Incorporated in the amount of $77,875.94, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Council President Borchert. Discussion on this item? Alderman Paulno.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Director Kaiser had mentioned that, correct me if I'm wrong, this was under $100,000 under the contracted budget, so I think that's good news, and that's accolades sent out to the Director of Public Works and or the contractor for coming under their budget. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this item? Please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-0.
And the second and last action item, the Public Works recommends to council approve final pay request, contract 3-25, street and utility construction, Caroline Street, Hickory Lane, to David Tenner Corporation in the amount of $198,464.94, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by Alderman Paulno. Discussion on this item. Seeing none, please cast your vote on your voting device. That motion passes 8-0.
And that's it. That's the end of my report.
Thank you for your report. The bid board meeting was canceled, so there is no report. Report from the Neenah Arts Council meeting of December 10th. Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Arts Council did not meet in December. We typically don't meet in December, but I do have a report, item number 2, recap of a Very Neenah Christmas and a Very Neenah Christmas Market, which was held Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, December 5th, 6th, and 7th. This event was very, very successful. All 3 days, there was steady traffic. Friday night, it was beautiful with the snow falling. The weather on Saturday and Sunday was perfect. The area that the Neenah Arts Council they were located in the Alta building along with Santa Claus, and we had a steady flow of families coming in. And I noticed that a lot of families that came in on Saturday and Sunday in particular were from out of town. So we had many, many visitors that came to our community for this event. Friday night, there were a lot of families that were where we were located because of the fact that we had the violin, the elementary and middle school violin students playing. But it was a very, very successful event. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. I had heard preliminary numbers of over 13,000 attending just on Friday.
Wow.
So it was a huge turnout, very positive, great event. Traffic backed up all the way to the highway. The next item on the agenda is a report from the Library Board meeting of December 17th. Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Library Board of Trustees met today December 17th at 4 o'clock. There are some notable upcoming events at the library. There will be a Library After Dark Latin Dance Party Friday, December 26th from 6:30 to 8. So if you are interested, try out some Latin dancing. There will be a retro video game extravaganza Monday, December 29th from 1 to 3. And there's another event that's called Set Your Intentions for 2026. So what this will be is kind of creating a storyboard of what you anticipate or would like to try out for 2026. And for the fishermen in Wisconsin, there's an adult afternoon program, ice fishing on the Bay of Green Bay, Monday, January 5th from 2 to 3. And I also brought in a puzzle that the Neenah Public Library has a wide variety of puzzles that you can check out. So if our weather turns to be very cold and you're looking for something to do over winter break, check out, we have 1,000-piece puzzles, 400-piece puzzles. We have so many puzzles that it's really a great thing to try, and you can check them out for 4 weeks. So that concludes my report, and as always, please check out some books.
Thank you for your report. The Landmarks Commission meeting was canceled, so there is no report. Are there any petitions?
There are petitions. There's a petition for a annexation number 239 for a parcel off Dogwood Trail near Button Bush Drive. That will go to the Finance and Personnel Committee on December 29th, go to the Plan Commission on December 30th, and will come to Council for final approval on January 7th. That's it.
Thank you. Are there any council directives? Is there any unfinished business? Alderman Paulno.
Thank you, Mayor. Director Nyforth, I remember recently we approved a $25,000 engineering contract for Arrowhead, and you said there was time constraints, and the memo also said there would be additional borings. And you had mentioned that there would be a contract brought to us before the end of the year. So my question is, I don't think that's going to be brought to us. And was that a hard deadline, or what happened with that?
The contract actually will be brought forward to the Public Services and Safety Committee on December 30th. So the work itself will be done in early January, but after council approves it on January 7th. So it's that time of year. It was our contractor we usually use was very busy, actually. This is their busy time of year, if you can believe that. So it'll be brought forward to the committee December 30th, council on the 7th, and then they will start working in early January after that.
The deadline being 12/31, I was thinking that was some kind of directive from powers above, or?
It was just, I always like to, when I'm soliciting an agreement, I like to have some sort of deadline or when they anticipate the work to be done. It's not done by then. It's out of their control. It's another contractor. So it'll be done within 2 to 3 weeks after, so I'm okay with that.
Okay, so it was our deadline that we wanted to get that.
Yeah.
So we won't need a New Year's Eve special council
No.
meeting?
No,
Because I would
promise.
advocate for that.
Promise that
We're
will not
good.
happen.
All right, thank you.
Is there any additional unfinished business? Is there any new business? Alderman Bruno.
Yes, I just wanted to tell that the Bertram Mahler Museum of Glass has right now their board meeting. So as I am on the board, but I can be at 2 places at the same time, I am here. So you will, but we have a dinner after the meeting, so I will catch up there just after our meeting. So you will have my full report at the next January council meeting. By the same time, I gave you the save the date for everything that you need to know for now, but you will have more information in January from me.
Building on that, they do have their community event tomorrow evening at 4 p.m., community reception for their Fused by Number mural that was created. So I will be attending that, and I hope some of you will as well. Is there any additional new business? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
There's a motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Thank you. We're adjourned.
The City of Neenah is pleased to provide video recordings of City Council meetings. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents from the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or completing the electronic feedback form on the city website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited.